Hello everyone. So I welcome you all to the Math Exploration Tour once again. So today we are going to discuss a wonderful mathematical problem which I call as the Pentagon coloring game. So it's a problem from simple mathematical logic, but it's a very beautiful problem. So we are going to discuss that here. So the problem statement is that we have a regular pentagon which is drawn in a piece of paper with its five sides and five diagonals. And there's a game going on between two people, say A and B. So the first player, what he'll do is he'll choose a particular line segment which is drawn among the 10 line segments and color it blue. The second player will next choose another line segment and color that red. And this process goes on repeating until all line segments have been colored, either blue or red. And the game is won by a particular player if he completes a triangle whose all sides are of his color. That is, for player A, if he completes a triangle with all sides blue, then he wins. And if player B, or the second player, completes a triangle whose all sides are red, then he is the winner. So that is about the winning strategy of the game. So what we are going to discuss is the winning algorithm for a particular player. Can a particular player actually win under any circumstances? Can player one or player two devise a method by which he can actually win the game irrespective of the other player's moves? So that is what we are going to address now. So to start with, we just play around with the problem. Just consider any random case. So we'll consider a regular pentagon whose vertices are A, B, C, D, and E. And we'll make an assumption that the first player is me. So I am trying to win the game. So that is the best way to think about the problem because we are trying to devise strategies to win the game. And when you are actually have that feeling, when you actually have that feeling that you are part of the game, then you in fact can find better ways. You're very enthusiastic to find a way to win. Anyone wants to win, right? So what we do is let me think of myself as the first player. So I'm going to start with something, just AB, let us say. I'm playing my first game uh, in this life. So I've never played this game before. I'm just choosing AB. Okay, let us see. The second player, let us say he chooses CE, just something random again. We don't know. Now, I want to connect one particular line segment so that it gives me an opportunity to complete a triangle in my next turn. So can I do that? Yeah, I can. Because if I connect BC, then it gives me the possibility of completing ABC. But you see, the second player does not want me to win. So what he'll do is he'll try to prevent me from completing the triangle. So he will complete this triangle AC. Now, what happens here is I am forced to color AE blue because otherwise in the second player's next turn, he can complete the triangle ACE. This is something I don't want. In a particular game, if I'm forced to make a particular move, then it means that I may have less chances of winning, which is loosely speaking, of course. But if you're forced to make a particular move, it obviously means that intuitively that you have less chances of winning. So BC seems to be not such a great choice. And it in fact appears that, okay, the second player had chosen CE. BE is also a symmetric case. You can see that if you join BE, then you end up being forced again. So I need to search for a particular line segment so that two things happen. It offers me a possibility of completing a triangle in the next turn, and also I am not forced to choose a particular line segment. So I need to, in fact, find such a thing. It appears that after trying possibilities, if I join AD, then of course the second player is forced to join BD and color it red. But that doesn't force me in the next turn to choose a particular line segment because he in no way can complete the triangle, right? Now, what should I do? There are many possibilities for me to actually get a chance of completing the triangle in the next turn. But that's not sufficient because if I just do that, then what the next player will do is try to avoid that by just coloring that particular line segment red. So what I would want is two possibilities of a formation of triangles of blue color. So if there are two possibilities offered to me, then the second player can only prevent one of them. And I have the other one remaining and I can complete the blue triangle. Something like the game of tic-tac-toe, if you've heard. You need to create a certain situation where you have two possibilities of completing a line, a row or column or a diagonal, such that the other player tries to prevent one, but he cannot prevent both in the same turn. So the analogy can be drawn between this game and tic-tac-toe. So I need to find a particular line segment so that if I color it, then I have two possibilities of formation of a triangle. Well, a question to ask is, would that be BC? No, it appears that if you color BC, then you have only one choice, that is to complete the triangle ABC. And the second player would clearly just try to avoid that by coloring AC to be red. Similarly, what if I say join DE? Even if I join DE, then what happens is the only possible triangle which could be formed in my next turn is triangle ADE, which of course in the next turn the second player would prevent by coloring AE to be red. That is not what we desire, but we need to keep trying all possibilities. And when we do that, we actually realize that if I color AE to be blue, then what happens is it gives me two possible triangles which I can complete in the next turn, which is triangle ADE and triangle ABE. So now the second player can only prevent the formation of one of the triangles. Say he wishes that triangle ADE shouldn't be completed at all, then he'll color DE to be red. But I say, okay, that is absolutely fine. I'll complete the triangle ABE. So I've won the game. Okay, so let us erase this. And say he does not want the triangle ABE to be completed. Fine, that's absolutely fine. Let him color that red. But I say, okay, it's absolutely fine. I'll color DE to be blue and complete the triangle ADE. And now one point to be considered is that one may say that the second player has completed a triangle over here, this particular triangle, but notice that this particular vertex, this one, is not part of the pentagon. So that's a necessary condition in the problem as well. The vertices of the formed triangle must be vertices of the pentagon. The triangle we have formed, triangle ADE or triangle ABE, their vertices are ADE or ABE, which are vertices of the regular pentagon. So that is a small confusion which is possible, which is easy to resolve if you have carefully read the problem statement. So it indeed appears that there exists a winning strategy for A in this particular case, if the second player chooses CE. And in fact, we can do so for CD as well as DE in a similar fashion. So what we'll do is just write down this particular case in detail. So the first player would choose AB. That's what I have done. And say the second player chooses, say, PQ, where PQ may be one of CD, DE, or C. So I'm considering all those possible choices for the second player, where the first choice of the first player and the second choice of the second player don't have a common point. So those possibilities are CD, DE, and CE. So the second player chooses PQ. So recall what we did. What we did here was to join AD, right? That's what we did when we tried to win the game. So if the second player had joined CD, then in fact you could see that I would join AE. So what I'll just um, do is to put forward the notation that R, in fact, R is the point of the pentagon. I should say the vertex of the pentagon, rather. Vertex of the pentagon, which is distinct from A, B, P, and Q. So now, after the second player has chosen PQ, then what I would do is join AR by just taking the analogy. Here's PQ would be CE, and since I joined AD, I would be joining AR. So first player will color AR to be blue. Now realize that AB is blue and AR is blue. So the second player would be forced to color BR red, because if he did not, then in the next step, I would complete the triangle ABR, whose all sides are blue in color. So the second player would be forced to color BR red. So let us look at the next thing we did. The next thing we did was to join AE, right? So taking the analogy, we could say that he joined AQ. So first player next will join AQ. So let us do the same thing over here. In fact, the second player would have covered BD to be red, and then the first player colors AE to be blue. Now, what has happened is that triangle ABE and triangle ADE, as I said before, are two possible triangles. So, in fact, as a generalization, we can say that triangle ABQ and triangle ARQ are the possible triangles. So the second player would be forced to color both. You see triangle ABE, BE, which is actually equivalent to BQ, and DE, which is equivalent to RQ in this particular case, red, to prevent the formation of triangle ABQ and triangle ARQ, which of course is not possible in a single turn, right? Which is not possible in a single turn. So we have actually shown that for this particular case, where PQ is either CD, DE, or CE, and the second player's line segment choice does not coincide or does not have a common vertex with AB, then the first player can definitely win. The first player has a certain kind of motivation now that he can also devise an algorithm for the other remaining cases where the second player's choice has something common with uh, the has something common with the choice AB of the first player. So, right. So let us consider that particular case. So AB was a lucky start choice for me as the first player. So I'm going to stick to AB again over here. So I stuck to AB. And now without any further loss of generality, I can assume that the second player's choice is consists of A. It's a line segment starting from A and ending elsewhere. So let us say he just joined AD. Then again, I need to do something to form a triangle at first place. So let us say that I join BC so that I have the possibility of forming a triangle. So I did this. Okay, then the next player is just forced to take this. I now see that I am forced to join CD and color that to be blue. But again, loosely speaking, intuitively speaking, I should say that I am forced to make a particular move means that I have a less chance of winning. So what we'll do is we'll say that BC is not a proper choice. We won't do that. So again, the next question we need to ask is there a choice of a line segment wherein I can complete a triangle and also ensure that I am not forced in the next move? So such a choice, again, turns out to be similar to the previous case, and that choice is AE. That is because if I join AE, then the second player would be forced to join BE, and now he does not have any possibility of forming a triangle in next turn. There does not exist anything like that. So that's what we have achieved. Now again, if we recollect what we did in the previous case, what we tried to do was not just to limit ourselves to try the formation of one triangle in the next turn, but we'll try to uh, choose a particular line segment so that we have two choices for forming a triangle of blue color, so that the second player in his next turn can prevent the formation of one of them and he cannot prevent the other, so he can just complete the other triangle. So as I did before, if I just try BC, then I have only a single possibility, which is triangle ABC. And the next player can easily prevent it by joining AC to be red. And what's worse is I am forced to join CD and color it blue, right? So that's a really bad choice then. And there must be some particular line segment is what we have as an intuition, because that's what happened in the previous case. The first player that is myself, we must be more confident that we can find a particular line segment. And indeed, there exists that line segment. And that line segment, after trying out various things, we get to know that it's AC. Because now I have two possibilities, triangle ABC and triangle AEC. The other player can only and only prevent the formation of one of them. Say he wants to prevent the formation of triangle ABC, fine, color this to be red. I'll color that to be blue simply, right? Or if he wants the other way around, that he does not want the formation of triangle AEC, then what I'll do is complete the triangle ABC and win the game. So that's exactly what we want. We have in fact devised an algorithm for the first player so that he can win irrespective of the moves of the other player. So we have to write this down formally again, as we did in the previous case. So we are going to assume that now in the case 2, the previous case was case 1 here, where I will describe case 1 as the line segment chosen by player 1 has no point in common with the line segment with, I'll just write this, the line segment chosen by player 2 in the respective first turns. So that is how we describe case 1. And case 2 would be, there is a point common between the line segments chosen by player 1 and player 2 in their first turns. So again, the first player, I'll say, chooses AB. And what I'm going to do is, I'll say that without loss of generality, the line segment chosen by player 2 contains the point A. That is, either it's AC, AD, or AE. So, yeah, again, we are going to do this, that the second player, I can say, chooses AP for some P. And in fact, P can be either a C, D, or E. It cannot be B because both the first player and the second player cannot choose the same time segment. And I would like to comment on this without loss of generality statement. I can assume this because if I provide an argument for A, then there exists an exactly symmetric argument for B as well. So I'm going to give an argument for A, and you can draft a very similar argument for B. That is, if the line segments have point B in common. So we can assume without loss of generality that The second player chooses the line segment AP, where P is either C, D, or E. So if he does that, I should say, uh, so what we did over here is, say he joins AD. So what we did was to join AE. So this first player will choose AQ, where Q in fact is distinct from B as well as P. So here I'll just join AE. In fact, I could have also joined AC. Here AC and AE would lead us to similar arguments. So if I join AE, then the second player would in fact be forced to join PQ. Because if he didn't, then I would complete the triangle APQ, right? Sorry, not PQ. I'm very sorry for that. So a triangle, if it doesn't color BP, then BQ, I should say. If it doesn't color BQ, then I would complete the triangle ABQ, because AB is something I have chosen, AQ is something I have chosen, and if second player does not join BQ, then I will complete the triangle ABQ. Second player would be forced to join BQ, which is nothing but BE over here. The next thing we did was to join AC. So we'll say that we'll give a name to C over here as well, that let R be the point distinct from ABPQ. So R is the point distinct from ABPQ. And the first player would join AR. So the first player has colored AQ blue and AR blue. So the second player would be forced to color QR. And there's also one more possibility. So if I join AC, then the second player is forced to color BC as well as CE, which is the same as saying BR as well as QR. So realize that AB is colored blue, AR is also colored blue. So BR also has to be colored red by the second player. So a second player is forced to color and QR and AR in a single turn, which is not possible. So thus we have shown that in all possible cases, of course, we have not written the argument where the line segments chosen by player 1 and player 2 have point B in common, but that is an exactly similar argument as this particular one, which we have written down in case 2. So we have thus shown that in all possible cases, there exists an algorithm where the first player can definitely win. So this ideally would complete the problem. We can say that the problem is done. So one thing which I would like to mention that in this particular discussion is that this discussion was done without much preparation from my side. The reason is I wanted to make an attempt how a video would look where one would have to think as well as teach. That is something which is essential for anyone who is really passionate about teaching to, in fact, think simultaneously and also teach when students raise doubts, etc., and so on. So, if you like this video, please do let me know in the comments. And if you find any errors in the solution, also, please do let me know in the comment. And for more math, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for your patient ear.